I'd like to call the liquor license hearing of September 11th, 2017 to order. Can you call the roll, Madam Clerk?
Commissioner McLeod?
Present.
Commissioner Palafis?
Present.
Commissioner Stanton?
Present.
The applicant is David's Burrito Express LLC, doing business as Burrito Express, 870 Roselle Road. Is the petitioner here, for chance? Come on up.
I forgot to tell her that. Just stand right up there.
Yes. Can you just identify yourself for the record, ma'am? Name and address.
My name is Cindy Gomez, and my address is address of the business or my own address?
Either one's fine.
870 North Roselle Road, Hoffman Estates, Illinois, 60169.
Okay, Madam Clerk, is all the information in order? Background check turned out okay? Okay. Do any of the liquor commissioners have a question?
Do you by any chance own the Burrito Express in Barrington?
No,
Because it's killer good.
really?
Say, yeah. Saying it'd be an instant go for me.
Oh,
I'll make a note of that.
Right.
Any other questions from
You've
the-
been operating for a year and a half now?
a year and a half, yes.
Okay.
Has to
And
drive through sometimes.
have you ever dealt with liquor at a store before?
No,
Okay, so this is your first
First time.
experience? Okay. All right, and you've got all the accreditations, is what I think I'm reading here? Okay. All right, no other questions?
Okay, anybody in the public have any questions to ask? Do you have any questions for us,
no.
Ms. Gomez? No? Okay.
Or I should ask one other question.
Okay, go
What are you
ahead.
going to be serving? What kind of liquor do you think you're going to be serving?
We want to try everything right now
Okay.
at the beginning, so.
The license covers everything. You can limit it to beer and wine if you want, but it's the same license, so you can serve hard liquor too if you want to.
Okay.
Chair would accept a motion to release the license to petitioner.
So moved.
I'll second.
It's motion to second, any discussion? See none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it, motion carried. Chair would accept a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
I'll second.
Motion to second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it, motion carried. We are adjourned. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Zoning Committee on this September 11th, 2017 in the Village of Hoffman Estates. Roll call, please.
Chairman Stanton?
Present.
Vice Chairman Arnett?
Present.
Trustee Mills?
Present.
Trustee Newell?
Present.
Trustee Palafis?
Present.
Trustee Gata?
Present.
Mayor McLeod?
Thank you. We have a quorum. Looking for approval of the minutes of August 7th, 2017.
So moved.
I'll second.
Thank you. Anybody notice any corrections or deletions that need to be made? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor of the minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Minutes are approved. New business, we have 4 items. First, request by SVAP Hoffman Plaza LP for a site plan amendment for Hoffman Plaza Shopping Center.
So moved.
I'll second.
Thank you. Pete, do you want to give us some information regarding this?
Sure. There are 2 parts to this request, both under the umbrella of a site plan amendment. One is the overall redevelopment of the Hoffman Plaza property, included shifting and realigning the Roselle Road entrance, the driveway, which is one of several into the site. The petitioner is working hard towards a site completion and hopefully an occupancy in October. They have still not resolved and received approval from Cook County for the permit to build this new connection to Roselle. And rather than try and deal with a situation where they don't have an access on Roselle, they came up with a modified plan alternative, which basically allows them to use the existing curb cut so they don't have to do anything in the Roselle Road right-of-way. And it ties into the site plan that you approved for redevelopment. And we have reviewed it on a staff level with transportation carefully, and everything about this plan works perfectly fine for us. If it ended up being the permanent condition, that would be fine from a safety standpoint. That's one request. They're asking for this alternative plan. They will like to keep the option open if they eventually get the county permit. They would like to possibly shift the driveway over. So this would be considered an alternate. And the second provision, we had included, based on the expected schedule, that they would have everything done on the site 100% in accordance with code before they got any occupancy permits for the stores. due to a variety of issues, including the county, MWRD, the fact that renovating an existing facility always uncovers unexpected challenges. They are going to be extremely close to being 100% done, but they may have some minor site items incomplete. Perhaps, I'm just speculating at this point. Sometimes a light pole may be misordered, or they may need to replace a few landscape trees or items. So they're asking approval to allow us to issue a temporary occupancy permit if all life safety items are completed during the summer months, which our code normally does not allow. Again, I can't identify at this moment exactly what those items may be, and they're going to try to avoid that, but it's possible that they may be in that situation. From a staff standpoint, we have a process in place. After November 1st, and throughout the winter months, we regularly do this, which our code allows. So we have a guarantee structure in place. Our staff is well equipped to handle this and make sure that they get everything finished in a timely manner. So we don't see any issue with allowing this. And because it's a code requirement and it was actually restated in the board conditions, it needed to come back here for a site plan amendment for your consent. So those are the two pieces. They are hopefully trying to target a completion and store opening in early October for the Burlington store. And it's rather critical that they meet that schedule because Burlington rolls out all their stores, all their new stores at the same time. So they want to be in that package for this October. So that's where this stands.
Do we have an actual date as far as when they were supposed to open?
I believe it's the 11th of October. Yeah, October 11th.
Mayor, you have a question?
Yeah, since the temporary occupancy can only be issued for certain conditions between November 1 and April 30th, I was assuming they'd open November 1st. So where's the temporary occupancy coming from?
They're asking for temporary occupancy to open on October 11th.
When did they just say that?
And that could be my fault for not wording it more clearly. Our code is worded a little odd. It's really a summer seasonal thing. Yeah, that could have been spelled out probably more clearly by me.
I really don't like temporary occupancy because I'm concerned that they'll never do what they're supposed to do since they already have occupancy. Are you
Right.
really going to shut them down next April if they don't do what they're supposed to do?
Right. More likely what we do is we will require, there is a fee that they pay for a temporary occupancy permit, and we require a performance guarantee for 100% of the cost of anything that's not done. And that's typically the incentive. The contractors on the private sector, the contractors don't get their payouts without that occupancy permit, so they're anxious to finish so that the owners will pay them. For the most part, on most sites, seems to work well. This project has been going very well. The contractor is very reputable. The owner has actually been very responsive. Once they got up and running and through the demolition, this project seems to be moving along pretty well. And like I said, it's very likely that there may be a minor, if a light pole comes in and it's damaged and they need to replace one pole, or something gets messed up with the landscape order and they're missing a tree or two. We're expecting it could be very minor things like that. But we're concerned if we don't try and work with the developer after a very long time and a lot of significant investment in redoing this property, it could put them and the Burlington store in a very difficult position if they can't meet that date. So we're confident. We do this regularly on during construction projects that we issue temporaries in the winter months, and we are very diligent about following up to make sure things get complete. So.
Tell me about the curb cut on Roselle. We have the diagram now, which looks like it is the original, where they're going in. Where was it supposed to be?
Actually, it didn't have that little kind of S bend to it.
Okay.
They were planning to make a complete straight connection to Roselle. And what that does is it obviously it's just a little smoother and simpler since they're redeveloping the whole site. They thought they could straighten that out. It may come into play down the line in a future phase if they come in with plans, the stuff to the south that you see on the right of the page that's kind of blank.
Right.
If they come in with plans for there, it may be more, kind of important that they're able to straighten that road out and make that all work together. But that's not being developed right now, so they have the option to, this design that they're showing on this plan will work perfectly fine.
It's worked all these years.
It has worked all these years, yes.
Trustee Mills.
In other words, the items that might require the temporary occupancy are all exterior in the parking lot type things?
Yes,
So the building itself would be completely built to standards of what we've
Correct.
required in the plan?
correct. There's absolutely no flexibility on life safety items, the fire department, building department, the interior stuff, is really not, there's really nothing we could allow from a safety standpoint. Parking lots will be done, striped, all the handicap accessibility will be done. I mean, everything has to be complete so that the site completely functions. It's really more of, I don't call it they're less important items, obviously, from a safety standpoint. They're important in the big picture, but they're not critical to the function or the safety of the store or the customer access. All of that will be in place, definitely.
Well, I think we've all remember what it's like trying to work with Cook County and let us think about that stoplight for a while. It does take a while sometimes to get them to go along with things. That's all I've got.
Anybody else with any other questions up here? All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor of it, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it, and it is approved. Second on the agenda is request acceptance of the Department of Development Services monthly report for Planning Division.
So moved.
Thank you. Anybody have any questions on that? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Third is request acceptance of the Department of Development Services monthly report for Code Enforcement Division.
So moved. Second.
Thank you. Any questions on those? Nothing? Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Fourth and last for us is request acceptance of Department of Development Services monthly report for economic development and tourism.
So moved.
Boy, you guys are coming in on a tie. One of you has a second, all right?
Second.
Okay.
I wasn't listening.
All right. Anybody have any questions on that? Hearing none, then all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. President's report.
I'll wait for the board meeting, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. We have nothing in other or items in review, so looking for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
second.
Thank you. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned.
I'd like to call the General Administration and Personnel Committee meeting of the Village of Hoffman Estates for September 11th. Can I have a roll call, please?
Chairman Arnett.
Present?
Vice Chairman Mills.
Present.
Trustee Stanton.
Present.
Trustee Newell.
Present.
Trustee Palafis.
Present.
Trustee Gata.
Present.
Mayor McLeod.
Present.
Thank you. We have a quorum. If I can get a motion for the approval of minutes for August 7th, 2017.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Okay, we have three new items under new business. Item number 1, request acceptance of cable TV monthly report.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, any questions or anything? Okay. All those in favor say by aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Item number 2, request acceptance of human resources management monthly report.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, any questions? Okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Ayes have it. Item number 3, request acceptance of legislative operations and outreach monthly report.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, any questions? Nothing? Okay. All those in favor signifying by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. President's report?
Well, I'll wait for the board meeting, Madam Chair.
Okay, and I see nothing in other, nothing in items in review. Can I have a motion to adjournment?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Motion adjourned.
I'd like to call to order the Transportation and Road Improvement Committee for September 11th, 2017. Would the secretary please call the roll?
Chairman Mills.
Present.
Vice Chairman Stanton.
Present.
Trustee Arnett.
Present?
Trustee Newell.
Present.
Trustee Palafis.
Present.
Trustee Gata.
Present.
Mayor McLeod.
Present.
Thank you. Look for a motion to approve the minutes of August 7th.
So moved.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Any corrections or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the ayes have it. New business this evening. Number 1, request authorization to award contract for the 2017 surface patching project to J.A. Johnson Paving Company of Arlington Heights, Illinois, in the low bid, in an amount not to exceed $145,891.
So moved.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Staff, did you wish to comment on that?
Just to note that this is the first time we've done a separate standalone bid on surface patching. Previous years, it's been included within the scope of the annual street project. And at least on this year, the experience was very positive. It was about 15 to 20% less than we had seen in previous years when it was included in the larger project scope.
Okay, thank you. Any questions?
I do.
Yes.
Mike, how long is this work going to take?
The contract stipulates 15 working days, so it'd be two to 3 weeks.
Okay. And when would they start, do you know?
They want to start as soon as they can get all the contracts approved, so most likely next week, I would say, would be the earliest.
All right, great. Thanks.
Okay, anyone else? Seeing none, we've got a motion on the floor. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the ayes have it. Number 2, request approval of a letter of understanding with the Illinois Tollway for crossroad signing on the Beverly Road Bridge.
So moved.
I'll second.
Motion and a second. Did you wish to talk about this?
I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Okay, thank you. And just the Beverly Bridge is the only one we're talking about, because that's the only one we actually control the road itself.
Correct.
On that bridge.
Right.
Any questions up here? Seeing none, all those in favor of the...
The mayor had a question.
Did
They
you have a
wouldn't let
question?
Beverly Road Hoffman Estates go on there, would they?
No, they're not doing the community names. We had actually asked for that. That was a
We did. We
discussion
tried.
point with the Barrington interchange. We tried to do that. They're just doing the crossroads.
Okay. All right, once again, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the ayes have it. Next one is request approval of an intergovernmental agreement with the Village of Schaumburg for Bodie Road bike path maintenance.
So moved.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Any questions or comments on this?
I do have a question.
Yes, trustee Stanton.
Regarding Bodie Road, at least. Why did we do bump outs at Washington and Grand Canyon?
Those are in the areas where there are school crossings.
And we felt it was safer that way?
We've been trying to do that. Last year, we did it at Hillcrest and Fremont. So adjacent to the schools or on the walking routes to schools, we've been looking for opportunities to do that.
Yeah, I wasn't happy necessarily that that was done, but I wish we had had a choice, at least to vote on that. As far as with the bump outs, how we do the bicycle path? Wouldn't the bump outs take away the bicycle path there?
There's, on Bodie, it's a shared lane. There's no separate striped bicycle lane in those particular sections. This is just an extra wide travel lane, which is similar to what we have on Hassel Road or Fairmont, or not Fairmont, at Fairmont School on Arizona.
Yeah, I've seen those, and I think those are kind of dangerous myself. I think this whole setup is a little bit more dangerous for bicycle users, but that's my personal opinion. That's it.
Okay. Anybody else? Trustees, yes. Mr. Gator? Trustee Gator?
On the bicycle path, and looking at this, the yellow line, you have the red line, before or on Bodie, and then, of course, it's the yellow. The yellow line is what, in reference to the red lines?
That's the part we take.
Is that what's just going to be done, is just what's on?
That's the part that we're responsible for.
Right. This is the off-street bicycle path. So this is separate from Trustee Stanton's question about the on-street bike facility. This is a 10-foot wide asphalt path that just parallels the road.
And the red is already established bike paths?
That's the area that's maintained by Schaumburg.
Okay.
Existing bike paths, correct.
And the only other thing that I have to say is that I think you did an excellent job in laying this out for us with the photographs and everything else and the explanation. So thank you for that.
That was primarily Corporation Counsel who took the lead on that.
Okay, then thank you to both of you.
Basically, our head engineer.
Oh, that's all I have.
Anyone else? Seeing no other questions, we do have a motion on the floor. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Number 4, request acceptance of Transportation Division monthly report.
So moved.
One second.
Nice job that we can get off at Barrington Road going east.
Oh, yes, yes.
It certainly did, but it
Yeah.
was nice doing that when we came back last weekend from out of town.
I finally did it last night, so yeah, it
Yeah,
was
it's
nice.
very nicely done.
Trustee Palafis.
I'd like to echo the same only about the roads. Well done on all the roads, especially Glen Lake, probably one of the worst. And I was on Firestone today where they were grinding it up, so that one should be done soon. There are a lot of people looking forward to that, so thank you.
Thank you. I'll share that with the team.
Anyone else? Anything you wish to highlight?
Yes, I did have one additional thing to present to you. Just a real quick PowerPoint, if I could.
You okay there? It's your left arm. You're on, Mike.
Okay, thank you. Just in the last, actually this morning, I had some conversations with Pace. They are proposing to add logo signage to the sides of the stair tower elevator buildings for the pedestrian overpass. And their idea is to add the Pace Illinois Tollway and the village logo to the sides of the building for eastbound and westbound traffic, so that it clearly identifies this location. We had sent a couple different ideas to them, different color schemes for the logo, and Pace was looking for our input on which of the several different options we would prefer. So this is generally what the presentation would look like. The three options were, again, just different color combinations of the village seal. The one that seemed to stand out the best to staff was the blue border and lettering on a white background. We'd also have the multicolor option where the braiding is in gold as well as some inlay around the outside, or just a standard black and white version, or just to show what it would look like if it matched the white logos that are being used by both Pace and the Illinois Tollway. This is what just this typical white would look like. So we were hoping to get some direction from the board this evening on which of these various color options you would prefer. We give that to Pace, and then they would proceed with marking that up and getting it installed.
Mayor?
Sort of out of left field, but what if you did it in red? The laurel wreaths and the border that would stand out. I know it's not the standard village color, but
So just to,
The white background with the red lettering?
yeah. Red,
so instead of the blue,
the yellow laurel leaf, that's all going to fade.
Yeah.
That's all going to fade.
yeah.
I mean, red will fade too, but it'll take longer.
It'll be pink.
Yeah, Pace didn't have any predisposition to any one set. They were looking
Don't you think a
for a
black might
direction.
hold up longer?
It was just a thought.
Yeah.
The mayor's rationale is exactly why we went with the blue. We're
Yeah.
concerned that the gold would fade out and you wouldn't see anything.
Definitely.
So whatever you want to pick that's bolder and darker was what we were hoping to accomplish.
Any ideas up here besides red? Can you go back to the black a minute? I think it'd be between the solid color, whatever color you go with.
Of course, the black really stands out, and it probably won't fade as much.
Yeah.
The blue might, just like the red, might fade, as where the black and white would stand out, easier to see and read.
What's the consensus?
About in honor of former trustee Rodney Rusikevich.
Purple?
Purple.
On that note, Gate is leaving.
Yeah,
Sorry,
Trustee
Rodney.
Palafis, you had something?
I like the dark and the bold, so either black or red. I'm good with both. I like the idea of red. It's different. Everybody, has got to do the monotone.
Trustee Gata?
I was just asked the question, Mike, the background, is that going to be brown, like what we just saw here?
It's displayed against it's a red-brown brick.
So it's really not going to, it's not that color that we were just looking at in brown, correct?
That was just a
Okay.
sample. I'm presuming that when this is applied, that if there is the background, it would be a uniform color to kind of blend into the brick.
Yes.
The pace, oh, I'm sorry, I thought it was on. The pace on the Illinois Tollway one, they'll remain white according to that picture, or do they bring in their own colors, which is
We did ask them that, and they are both using just white.
plain white? Okay.
For the same reasons we're talking about, they're afraid that they would fade out and bleed out over time, so they just said white. Ours is a little bit more, as you can tell, it's a little bit more intricate and has a lot more going on with
Yeah.
it.
Right.
All
So the
right, what's-
consensus
I don't
is-
mind
What's the consensus?
blue, but if we're going to have blue, I would say it'd have to be a lot darker blue than what we have up there. Just so it stands out more.
Navy blue?
Maybe
Yeah, maybe navy blue.
Can you make it darker, Mike, or no?
I think that, they can.
No, none of
They
that.
totally
No, I
service.
meant just on what this is.
Oh, no, not with this, no. Sorry.
For the blue than the black?
it's up to the,
My personal opinion,
the darker the
yes.
navy blue, it's close to black, it's, at that point,
Yes.
you can't
Yeah.
tell hardly.
Yeah.
I think the black stands out the best out of what we're looking at tonight, but
I agree with
if you
that.
could get the blue darker and it wouldn't fade, then that'd be fine. But it would be pretty close to black anyway.
Yeah, I'm not in favor of black. I would rather have red than the black.
Of course, this is
there
going
you
to be
go.
one of the longest answers, as usual.
They always are.
Uh-huh.
But it stands out against it, I'm sorry. It stands out against that rust, so
Yeah.
that's what the brick is gonna look like, so that's.
I'm afraid the
gonna-
red might blend, it'd start blending in.
I think.
All right, how many want red? Raise your hand.
I'll concede defeat on the red.
How many want blue? The darker, the better.
Darker the better.
Okay, we have 4. And
You're
how
done.
many want black? All right, so
Doesn't matter,
dark
man.
blue wins out.
Okay.
That's the consensus.
Dark blue, okay.
Dark blue.
But
Darker
show-
blue than what you got up there now.
Yes.
Thank you.
Are we going to see that before? I mean, how dark it's
We'll
going to be,
send
not
out-
now.
We'll send out electronically what we are telling them. Between what we tell them and what the contractor who puts it on
Yeah.
actually puts on, we're not guaranteeing.
It's beyond our hands, I'm
It's
sure.
out of our control by that point. It really
Good.
is.
Okay, thank you, Mike.
Well, thank you very much.
Now we'll go back to the motion on the floor, which was to accept the Transportation Division monthly report. All those in favor of that motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Anyone opposed? No. Ayes have it. President's report.
I'll wait for the board meeting, Madam Chair.
Okay, is there anything else to come before this committee this evening? Seeing none, I'll look for a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
We have a motion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. We are adjourned. Thank you.
Anybody need a break, or you want to go right in?
Sorry about that.
Maybe 5 seconds, 5 minutes.
5 seconds, you're
Seconds?
fast.
You are fast.
He's fast. Okay, we'll start the board meeting in about 5 minutes. Thanks. 5 seconds. 30 minutes. You call the roll, Madam Clerk.
Trustee Mills?
Present.
Trustee Newell?
Present.
Trustee Palafis?
Present.
Trustee Stanton?
Present.
Trustee Gata?
Present.
Trustee Arnett?
Present.
Mayor McLeod?
Present. Trustee Mills, can you lead us in the pledge? Everybody please rise.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with
Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Mills. Move on to recognition of the audience. This is a time if someone has a question or concern for an item that's not on the agenda, now's the time to come forward. Going once, twice, 3 times, we'll move on. Chair would accept a motion to approve the minutes of the August 21st, 2017 meeting.
So moved.
I'll second.
There's a motion, a second. Are there any additions or corrections to the minutes? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have a motion carried. Move on to consent calendar. Chair would accept a motion.
So moved.
I'll second.
There's a motion, a second. This is for A, the approval of the agenda, and B, approval of the schedule of bills for September 11th, 2017, in the amount of $3,518,568.31. Can you pull the board, Madam Clerk?
Trustee Mills.
Aye.
Trustee Newell.
Aye.
Trustee Palafis.
Aye.
Trustee Stanton.
Aye.
Trustee Gata.
Aye.
Trustee Arnett.
Aye.
Mayor McLeod.
Aye, motion carried. Move on to item number 6, President's Report. Do we have a proclamation, Madam Clerk?
Yes, you do.
We do.
And I have it here. Whereas the Hoffman Estates Chamber of Commerce works with the businesses, merchants, and industry to advance the civic, economic, industrial, professional, and cultural life of the village of Hoffman Estates. And whereas chambers of commerce have contributed to the civic and economic life of Illinois for 178 years since the founding of the Galena Chamber of Commerce in 1838. And whereas this year marks the 98th anniversary of the founding of the Illinois Chamber of Commerce, the state's leading broad-based business organization. And whereas the Chamber of Commerce and its members provide citizens with a strong business environment that increases employment, the retail trade and commerce, and industrial growth in order to make the village of Hoffman Estates a better place to live. And whereas the Chamber of Commerce encourages the growth of existing industries, services, and commercial firms, and encourages new firms and individuals to locate in the village of Hoffman Estates. And whereas the state of Illinois is the home to international chambers of commerce, the Great Lakes Region Office of the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, the Illinois Chamber of Commerce, and more than 400 local chambers of commerce. And whereas this year marks the 102nd anniversary of the Illinois Association of Chamber of Commerce Executives, a career development organization for the Chamber of Commerce professionals. Be it therefore resolved that William D. McLeod, acting under and by virtue of the authority vested in him by the Constitution of the State of Illinois and laws of this village of Hoffman Estates, hereby proclaims September 11th through September 15th, 2017, as Chamber of Commerce Week in the village of Hoffman Estates, and urges all Hoffman Estates residents and businesses to join in its observance.
Chair would accept a motion.
So moved.
I'll second.
Motion, a second. Can Tricia and Cheryl, you want to come on up to the podium here and say a few words about the organization and what you do?
Good evening, everyone. I think that most of you know us. This is our newest edition, and the best thing that ever happened to this Chamber of Commerce, our new office manager, Cheryl. We are very, very excited to be here this evening to accept this wonderful award from you. Thank you so very much.
Don't you have an event coming up soon?
We do. We have actually 2 events coming up. The first one is our 27th annual golf outing, and we will be golfing for scholarship dollars for students in our community. And we also have our fabulous legislative luncheon coming up the very next day, because that's how we schedule things in Chamber of Commerce world, with our fabulous Mayor McLeod as Master of Ceremonies. So we hope all of you will be there.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. The Chamber does a great job, and we're always very grateful. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have a motion carried. Come on, shake hands with everybody. Thank you for everything. Welcome aboard. Thank you. Gotta get a picture.
Matches your tie.
Could we also have a motion, because he's our past chair?
Oh, yeah.
Sure, Jim can come.
Come on,
Jim.
Jim.
Picture?
We have to pay him extra when he gets in pictures.
I'm so photogenic.
It's a contract, Nicholas.
What are you doing to Beth there?
All right, me first, because I'm official. Ready? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And one more. 1, 2, 3.
Pulling rank on
You
Kevin there.
guys make a good team, Kevin.
Okay, Kevin, thank you.
Thank you. Do have a couple of appointments to make this evening. Adam Bosky to the Planning and Zoning Commission. Chair would accept the motion.
So moved.
I'll second.
Motion is second. Any questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have a motion carried. Adam, you want to stand up? And Eva, you want to stand up too so he knows who the chair is? We'll be joined.
Your new guy.
When's your next meeting, Eva? Okay, well, you'll be informed when it is, Adam. Thank you for volunteering. Also, we have Linda Scheck for the Commission for Senior Citizens.
I'll second.
Motion and a second. Linda's involved in practically everything, so why not the senior citizens also? Yes, she will. She will. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have a motion carried. We haven't met in a while. First off, I'd like to, I'm sure on the behalf of everybody, express our very strong condolences to our corporation counsel, Janur, on the unfortunate death of his wife, Diane, a wonderful lady, and we're all with you, Art, on this. You know that. On the 22nd of August, I participated in the Transportation Infrastructure Transit Subcommittee meeting of the National League of Cities. On Wednesday, the 23rd, attended the Metro Mayor's Caucus downtown Chicago, and that evening, the 23rd, attended Wine Wednesday at Rookies. On Thursday, the 24th, we had Senior Appreciation Day here in the Hennessy Room by our Seniors Commission. And on the 25th of August, Trustee Gade and I attended the Thomas Jefferson School picnic, followed by the Whiteley School back-to-school picnic, both on Friday the 25th. On the 26th, several of us participated in the world's largest truck convoy, especially for Special Olympics. It was quite an event. And on Saturday the 26th evening, my wife and I attended the installation of Pastor Michael Schurschel of St. Hubert's. And okay, let's go to the 31st. Patricia McGlynn's retirement party at St. Alexius. She's worked at St. Alexius for over 30-some years. It was a very, very great event, and it received quite a bit of coverage, and several of us were able to be there. And on Friday, we had the retirement party for a sister who worked for years at Jewel. So it was another great event. Saturday the 2nd, the Youth Commission sign show Fire and Ice. This was really cool. And I think it was for kids from 2 to 12, and I think all of the trustees, we all enjoyed it. We were the first ones saying again, yeah, so.
Had a good time.
Yeah, I want to thank all the trustees who attended the Labor Day, and the village clerk, the Labor Day parade in Schaumburg. I was not able to make it this year. On September 5th, we welcomed the trainees briefly at the interns and externs for the Health and Human Services Commission, and then several of us attended the Smart Road Pace Flex Lane launch at Pace headquarters, and we drove down the tollway and got a look at how all this is going to work, and that was really cool. On Tuesday the 5th, we had a Celtic Fest meeting here. On Wednesday the 6th, I participated in the Executive Committee of the Northwest Municipal Conference. And on September 6th, I had a tour of Amran and lunch with the Japanese Consul General, which was a very exciting thing to have been a part of. We appreciate Amran involving us. On Thursday the 7th, I spoke to the third graders at Thomas Jefferson School. They always ask some great questions. You never know quite what they're going to ask. They had some really good questions. Particularly one young man, he was concerned about the conditions of the road and all the poor decisions I had made, so he was a pretty tough critic. I wonder where he heard that stuff from. Sunday the 10th, several of us went to the renaming of the Prairie Arts Center for Mayor L. Larson of Schaumburg, the L. Larson Prairie Arts Center. A very well-deserved honor for Al. He's been on the Schaumburg Village Board since 1975. He's been mayor for over 30 years. He was a real leader, not just for Schaumburg. He lives, breathes, and dies Schaumburg, but for the entire northwest suburbs of the state of Illinois. And nationally, he's been a leader for cities, and really appreciate everything that he's done. Also attended a block party on the 10th up on Anjou Lane, close to Trustee Plofs's house, and then we attended a wake for Doris Harner's mother at Algrim's. Today we had the local hero celebration at Brookdale. We honored the lady Melgorzata Rosteca, who lived in Barrington Lakes at the time and helped to guide this gentleman to safety. So she was honored by Brookdale as a local hero. This evening we had the 911 program in the council chambers here with Captain John Schneidwin of Schaumburg, who went to Ground Zero and assisted in what he hoped would be rescue and recovery and just became rescued. It was his story and all the photos, and it's always a very moving event, and we appreciate him doing this every year. I do have to do my trustee gate invitation. I do have a couple of things I'd like to mention. We got an email from John Bending, the dare officer for Hoffman Estates, saying, "Good morning. I wanted to thank all of you for coming out to the truck convoy on Saturday. Hope you guys had as much fun as I did. I also wanted to let you know how we did. We ended up with 96 vehicles in the convoy and raised $22,500. Both total set new records of our event." Also received a letter from a citizen. "I would like to take this opportunity to express my sincere gratitude to the Hoffman Estates Fire Department Station 21 for the outstanding care I received following a recent fall in my home. My husband Jim and I moved to Hoffman Estates in 1958 and have never needed the assistance of the paramedics until last week. The professionalism of the team, the compassion they demonstrated during my care, and their attention to all aspects of this emergency made my first trip by ambulance for a broken arm much more comfortable. The fire department responders treated me with the utmost respect. Their number one concern was for my well-being and care. Due to their fabulous active listening skills and a wonderful sense of humor, I've emerged from this adventure with a broken arm, but not a broken spirit, which is a great feeling for this 81-year-old Hoffman resident. Thank you to the fine gentlemen Steve, Tim, Greg, Mike, and Steve from Station 21 for doing their job with such excellence. However, I know this last level of excellence is how they conduct their jobs every day." Very fitting tribute, and I believe the chief got a copy of that letter also and actually sent it to the Daily Herald too. So good job by the department. Thank you very much. Now we'll move on to trustee comments. We'll start with Trustee Mills.
Took me by surprise there. First of all, I'd like to say I was at the Senior Appreciation Luncheon on the 24th, and as always, the Senior Commission did an excellent job and had a great turnout for their afternoon. I got to attend the truck convoy for Special Olympics. Didn't have the time to be able to ride in one of the trucks like a lot of you, but it was great just watching it all pull out with a number of trucks, and a great day for Special Olympics with the money they raised at that. That evening, I also attended the installation mass for Father Mike at St. Hubert's. I'm sure he'll make a great pastor, although Father Rizzo was also a great guy there. The 29th, I attended and was part of the Chamber's nominating committee, and also on September 7th, also another meeting for the Chamber's nominating committee. On the 8th, I was at the Chamber Government Relations Committee and looking forward to their afternoon luncheon coming up. On the 9th, was also with everyone here at the Platts concert, tapping of the keg, and the mayor and Trustee Gaeta did a great job doing that, and also went back in the afternoon to help out for a while. And tonight's 9/11 program, you can't say enough about it. Captain Schneidwin, no matter how many times he tells that story, it still brings it more into your heart each time, and he always adds a little something extra that he didn't have in it the time before. It's really something to make you remember, and we should never forget what happened that day. And, of course, condolences to our Corporation Council. That's it.
Okay, yeah, I did forget to mention the Plots concert. We want to thank the chairpersons of that, Trustee
Yes.
Palafis and Trustee Vandenberg, retired Trustee Vandenberg, who did a great job. They had a tremendous turnout. It's the best we've ever had, and I know it'll be bigger and better next year. I got many compliments on it. He said, those guys did the work, I just attended, so.
Whoever got you the weather for this weekend, make sure you
Yes,
have them
yeah,
next year.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Okay, trustee Stanton.
Thank you. First, condolences to our village attorney, Arthur Janura, on the unfortunate, untimely, and tragic death of his wife. Second, on 8/26, I was able to attend the send-off of the world's largest truck convoy on behalf of the Special Olympics. I, like Trustee Mills, did not ride in one of the trucks, but I certainly waved goodbye. And on the 1st of September, I was able to attend the Jennifer McGinn retirement party at the Jewel on Roselle, and they launched, how many balloons, Mike, would you say was, no, Mike Gaeta.
Data.
Don't you remember all the balloons that they sent up in the air?
They had at least 50.
Yeah, I would say so. All right, then, on the 2nd, I attended the Youth Commission's science show, Fire and Ice, and as the mayor has indicated, it was a wonderful show. I did not stay for the whole event like everybody else seemed to, but was there for about, I think, 40 minutes or so. And then on the 2nd, later that night, the mayor happened to get there a little bit before me, but we were both at the Ganesh Festival, and we both received blessings from the Hindu priest that was there. So hopefully we will live long lives as a result of that.
That's the plan.
That's the plan. On the 4th of September, I walked in the Septemberfest parade on behalf of our village with trustees Newell and Arnett, and also our village clerk, Romanoff. On the 5th of September, I was able to attend a meeting regarding future development in Hoffman Estates on the west side of town. And later that afternoon, I attended the Paces Smart Road Flex Lane launch reception. And as the mayor indicated, we did go on a bus ride from Arlington Heights Road all the way down to 59 and then turned around, and they showed us where the bus lane would be. And actually, it was a very comfortable ride on that bus. And let's see, on the 9th of September, I was able to stop briefly at the Plants concert on Saturday morning. And I want to thank all those involved who volunteered to help make it a very successful event. I myself had to go to a wedding that day, and that was my cousin's first son, I think, that got married. So out of 3 more, he's got 2 more sons to get married. Anyway, it was a nice event.
Get your suit clean, they got more coming.
Yeah.
That's right.
On the 10th of September, I was able to attend the ceremony, renaming ceremony at the Prairie Center of the Arts on behalf of the mayor, L. Larson. And then today we attended the Local Heroes celebration at Brookdale, and then later the 9/11 program right here in this very hall. And
Thank
that's
you.
it for me. Thank you.
Trustee Arnett.
Thank you. August 26th, I did attend the world's largest truck convoy for Special Olympics. Thank you for Officer John Bending for coordinating that event, and also for Redmond's Towing, allowing us to actually ride in their trucks with them. It was an awesome sight to see and be riding down that high up. I've never been that high up yet, so. Also, on September 1st, I did attend the Disability Citizens event here in the Hennessy Room. Very good turnout, very well put together. My compliments to the commission for doing that. 9/4, I also attended the Schaumburg Fest parade. It was pretty well attended, and thank you for Pat and Bill for picking us up and driving us over there and staying with us and not leaving us there high and dry. September 10th, I did attend the dedication of the Prairie Arts Center to Mayor Al Larson, very well deserved, and very, very nice tribute to him. I did also attend the block party at 3840 Anjou Lane, and also attended the wake for Lon Harner's mother-in-law, and also tonight the memorial for the 9/11. Thank you for the commission who actually put that together, very well done, and also my condolences to Art Genera and his family.
Trustee Gaeta.
Oh, here, I thought I was going to be last again.
Caught you.
You keep fooling me on that one. Anyways, let's see. On Wednesday, the 23rd, attended the Wine Wednesday at Brookie's. Then on Friday, the 25th, as the mayor mentioned, we had attended the Whitley School back-to-school picnic hosted by the teachers and the parents. They really had an excellent crowd that day, and the fire department also was out there, right? And the kids loved it because of jumping on the fire engines and everything else. Anyways, Saturday, the 26th, that's right. As far as the world's largest truck convoy, and let's see, Anna, Trustee Newell, and myself, we rode in Redmond's towing truck, the big ones that lift up the semis, right? That was interesting. And that's the first time that we rode in. In fact, also you were riding in one of the, I think, Public Works truck you were riding in. So that was nice that Officer Benning arranged it for us to be riding along. Let's see, on the 2nd of September, the Youth Commission Science Show that was here, the Fire and Ice, which was excellent. I think the adults enjoyed it just as much as the kids did. Then on Tuesday, the 5th, the Health and Human Services Trainee Welcome Luncheon that was here. In fact, the mayor and I were invited to come to that, and thank you, Dr. Savica, for inviting us. Let's see, Tuesday, September 5th, the PACE tour, just like Trustee Stanton was saying, that was really something. That bus was very, very comfortable and fairly new also. And then also let's see, on the 5th, that was the 2. Then on Friday and Saturday, the Platts concert on the 8th and the 9th made an appearance on both days. And yes, Trustee Falafis, you and Gail Vandenberg, you did an excellent job with your committee to lay it out. Everything was just like clockwork all the way, all right? And thank you for doing that job. Then on Sunday, September 10th, the dedication of the Prairie Center Arts in Schaumburg, where they renamed it for Mayor Larson, which was very good, and condolences to Corporate Counsel on that also. That's all I have, Mayor.
Trustee Newell.
Okay. A lot of the same stuff that everybody else has, so just hang tight. On the 26th, of course, we did the Special Olympics for the truck convoy. Kudos to raising so much money for the Special Olympics, and it was just so much fun to be able to ride along and just to be with everybody, to see the enthusiasm, to raise this money for a really, really good event. On the 2nd, of course, we did the Fire and Ice, which is like mad science, and thank you, Youth Science. I don't know who was more excited, the kids or us. They kept, telling them, keep going, And that's one time that they could do things without getting in trouble for blowing things up. On the 4th, of course, the September Fest with the fellow trustees and our clerk. On the 5th, the sustainability meeting. On the 9th, the Platts concert, which was great. We went there for lunch. It was awesome. Thanks to everybody, Trustee Palafis, ex-trustee Gail Vandenberg, anybody who worked it or whatever. It was just a fun time, and like you said, the weather cooperated. That made it even better. So on the 10th, of course, the 30-year Mayor Larson, by renaming the Prairie Center for the Arts for him. Truly deserved. I'm glad they did that for him. Then we did also the block party on 3840 Anjou. We also did the wake for Lon Harner, mother-in-law, for his family. So, and condolences definitely to our corporate counsel, Art Genera. I'm so sorry. And then, of course, tonight was the celebrations committee put on the remembrance of 9/11, and I'm sure everybody remembers where they were at that time and date when all this was happening, and to all those, who are out there and were there for us for 9/11 one way or the other. But some good news. Congrats to our police department, and I'm not going to read it, the whole thing, because it's in the Citizen. But I'm just going to throw it out there real quick, just that we're one of the safest cities out of the top 50. We made number 16, which is like so awesome. Thank you, guys. And then congrats to Public Works because out of the top 100 fleets, guess who came in? Us, Hoffman Estates. So thank you. And that's all I have. So I'm done.
Well, that's good news. Trustee Palafis.
Bravo. I'm only going to talk about a couple things tonight. One is the 9/11 remembrance. Many thanks to Bev and your commission. It's been a couple of years since I've attended. They've always had something going on those nights in previous years, but I worked at United Airlines on 9/11 when it happened, and it brings back a lot of those thoughts and emotions as I was looking at those pictures, and it was a very somber time for all of the country and the world, but especially the airline, having lost 2 planes and 2 crews that day. But great job. It was a great event, and I really enjoyed it. AJ came with me and then ditched me promptly afterwards, so he enjoyed it too as he waved to me on the way out. Also wanted to talk about the Plots concert a little bit. The weather was fantastic. It was almost the perfect event, but many thanks to Trustee Vandenberg. I love serving on that commission with her. The commissioners are great. Bill Joni gave us Alex, and recommended her, and she was dynamite. She runs that information table and just does so many great things. And Jim, and then Jerry and Lee and the rest of the group just do a ton of work. But our staffers are awesome. Rachel and Mark and Ryan, and then the social media side of the team and Public Works. Joey, your guys were awesome and, really collaborative, and as they always are. But this year, everything just seemed to have a sweeter jive to it in terms of the whole event. And it was just a lot of fun. And, the games were very well attended, and financially, we killed it. So it'll be interesting to see how well those numbers roll in. I know Levy was about 1,000 or 2 off from their concert they did on Friday night. So they had a good weekend for both events, but it was a lot of fun. And I thank all of you who came and some of you who served, and the tapping of the keg was fun. And Joe, you got to climb the wall. I think somebody has video of that, and got some face painting for the kids and whatnot. But it was just overall a great event. And Arda, was great to see you there with Kelly, and Patty was there with Jeff and everybody. So we had all kinds of people attend, and it's just a really happy event. And the weather, I think, was the magic, though. So somebody made a deal with God. I don't know who it was. But nevertheless, thank you all.
Thank you, Trustee Palafis. Move on to 6C, Village Manager's Report.
Just on behalf of the management team, our deepest condolences. That's it.
6D, Village Clerk's Report.
Okay. For the month of August, 176 FOIAs came through and 44 passports were processed. We are really high. I read these things about some places that had 16 FOIAs for a month. I'm like, we would kill to have 16. We'll give you everything you want if we only have 16. But 176 and then the 44 passports. That's it.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Move on to 7, Planning and Zoning Commission Report. Chairperson Combs. Good evening.
Planning and Zoning Commission did not recommend for approval a request by Thomas R. Donan, owner, for a variation from Section 9-3-2-C-2 of the zoning code to permit a driveway expansion in the front yard that does not lead to an approved parking structure, and for a 10-foot variation from Section 9-3-2-C-3 of the zoning code to permit the driveway to be 40 feet width instead of the permitted 30 feet width at 800 Freeman Road with 2 conditions. The vote was 1A, 8 nays. The commission had taken 2 things into consideration. One, that the petitioner had signed a letter prior to getting permit for his driveway that he agreed to take out the non-complying area, and also that the petitioner had available to him an expansion onto the east side of his driveway, which would have been within code.
Okay, so an aye vote is to sustain the denial. Mr. Corporation Counsel, if that does not happen, and the board would want to approve this, what type of vote would you need for that?
Right now, there's a recommendation of denial, so they would have to have a motion that's what they
Where's it going to?
need. But did you need the motion or you need the numbers?
The numbers.
Village manager, I believe, is correct, 2/3.
Two-thirds
We have
of
our-
the trustees.
Okay,
Which means.
Four.
Right.
okay.
What-
Motion that we accept the commission's denial.
There's a motion to approve the denial.
Is the petitioner
Second.
here?
Is the petitioner here? I guess not. Some folks are here earlier, and this, maybe the meeting went too long. I don't know if they're here for this or not. I have no idea. There's a motion to sustain the Planning and Zoning Commission report. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion, there's a second. Any questions?
I did have questions, but I wanted it for the petitioner to decide whether or not he's willing to comply with the 14 feet on the east side versus what he has now in front of his house. But without him here, I can't ask any questions.
Did that come up?
Did that come up?
Wouldn't give us any answer either way. He appeared to be extremely confused.
How old a gentleman is this?
Older.
When you say,
As old as Stanton?
You're
That's kind of a
asking for
relative
somebody
term,
in our age group to say old.
the 60s or older?
Older than we are.
Okay. Well, it would be nice to have him here, but,
Well, of course, if it's denied,
Yeah,
he
he
would
can
have
always-
the option
He's
of
gonna come
coming.
back.
well, he still
back.
has the other year to comply anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, there is a motion, a second. Trustee Gata.
And this would be to either staff or to you, Eva. What if now he has a year in order, because he was given 2 years to remove it, all right? So what happens if he doesn't remove it?
Well, at that point, we would, if he wasn't going to agree, our next step would be to issue citations and go through a court process, just like we would with any other violation on a property that, someone refuses to comply.
And he, as far as putting it, taking it out and putting it on the east side, he did not want to comply with that or to?
We could not get a direct answer from him on that. It should be noted that there are no other driveways with a bump out like he has anywhere on that street.
I know, because we were just looking at the chart, because his next door neighbor has a RV and 3 vehicles in his yard, but I was just curious on that. All right, thank you.
Trustee Palafis.
Mike's question made me think of, Pete, if he tries to sell the residence, does that carry over to the new ownership? How does that work? I forget.
Well, we do the best we can to inform purchasers. Many of them ask, especially if there's something odd like this.
Will like the transfer stamp process catch it, or?
Not technically, no.
No?
We can't stop a transfer stamp because of violations. But if we become aware of it, we certainly will disclose open violations. And then at that point, we would basically begin a process with the new owner. Obviously, if they've had no idea, we would give them time and try and work with them.
But it's something he has to disclose through the process, right?
That's
Well, also, the real estate contract will make him represent that there are no code violations, so.
Oh, I got you.
Right, that's where I was going.
Trustee Mills.
Do we ever get to the point where we can put a lien on the property for violations?
Yes.
We can, yeah.
At what point do we get to that?
That point is going to occur, sorry.
But go ahead,
I'm
jump
pretty
on
good-
in.
I'm pretty good with these ones. That point, the liens occur usually after there has been a adjudication of some form, notice goes out, opportunity to be heard occurs, a hearing, whether it's administrative hearing or whether it's a hearing in court. And then once a dollar amount or a fine has been imposed, then we can file a lien against the property, which Jim knows we really try to pursue that as well as we can.
So then that would come up on a real estate closing that there's a lien on the property.
It would also come up on the title report.
It's all a matter of timing,
Right,
of when the person
Well,
would
we
sell
know.
in relationship to our action.
yeah. Okay.
Okay, any other further questions? Okay, we do have a motion, second. The motion is to sustain the report of the Planning and Zoning Commission, so I vote, in essence, that's supporting the Planning and Zoning Commission's denial. Can you poll the board, Madam Clerk?
Trustee Mills?
Aye.
Trustee Newell?
Aye.
Trustee Palafis?
Aye.
Trustee Stanton?
Aye.
Trustee Gata?
Aye.
Trustee Arnett?
Aye.
Mayor McLeod?
Aye, motion carried.
Planning and Voting Commission did not recommend for approval a request by William Pulvermacher, owner, for a 350 square foot variation from section 9-3-6-J of the zoning code to allow a shed to be 500 square feet instead of the maximum of 150 square feet at 825 Basswood Street with one condition. The votes were 4 ayes, 5 nays, 1 absent. The commission felt that the unit was way too large and was not warranted since it was mainly to just store motorcycles and snowmobiles and kids' toys.
Isn't there a motion to defer this?
There's
Yeah,
a
I was
request
just
to
gonna
defer.
say.
There's a request from the petitioner to defer
Okay.
to the September 18th meeting.
Well, I'll make a motion to defer.
I'll second.
Go ahead, I'll second it.
Second, any discussion on the deferral? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have a motion carried.
Planning and Zoning Commission recommended for approval a request by Poplar Creek LLC, owner and Stonegate Properties, Inc., applicant for an extension of a special use amendment under section 9-8-2-C-9 of the zoning code to allow retention of an outdoor patio area on the west side of Stonegate Conference and Banquet Center located at 2401 West Higgins Road with 6 conditions. Vote was 9 ayes, 1 absent. One of the conditions was to limit this to 5 years with 1 possible renewal instead of making it permanent because of the numerous violations that were present on the property. We thought that by having them come back after 5 years, it would give the village an opportunity to make sure that it was being kept up.
Chair would accept a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Trustee Newell.
I just had one question. We said we do this for the 5 years, and how old is this tent actually? Then, do we know?
Yeah, 90s, wasn't it?
Yeah,
No, it was 2002, I think it
2000.
said.
2002.
It
I
opened
think.
after 2000.
Oh,
2001 it opened, yeah.
This is like the 3rd time we've done this.
Well, it'll be fourth. time.
4th, yeah.
Okay.
Trustee Palafis, you had something?
This is just one of those temporary, permanent things that, I think we see. Is there ever a desire to just make it permanent? I mean,
He wanted it permanent. We were in the condition, we approved the 5 years.
I thought when this was originally approved that it was supposed to be taken down in the winter.
Yeah.
It was never meant to be a permanent addition to the building.
No, it was supposed to come down.
Trustee Gata, you had something?
Yeah, I do. And looking over here, the staff report, the outstanding property maintenance violations, and I have number 5, number 6, number 7. Have they finished any of those? Because according to the photographs, that they're in horrible shape.
The property was in pretty bad shape when we did the initial inspections. I think he provided an update at the meeting, maybe.
He did, there's a number
This is
of things that still haven't been taken care of. I think he was given to, November 11th, was it, or something like
November
that
5th,
as one of the
November 15th,
conditions
yeah.
to complete it, though I think there was 1 or 2 items he wasn't sure was going to be done by that time.
That's the reason I came up with number 5, 6, and 7.
Yeah.
And he's aware of it, and he said that by the November 11th, that this would be taken care of?
Not all of them.
Not all of them.
A couple he wasn't sure of. They were still waiting for the contractor to get back to him.
So what do we do in this case?
Well, staff at the meeting had told me that if it was just minor things on the due date of all the repairs, that they could deal with it in-house.
Okay, and as far as the parking lots and so forth, are they going to reconstruct it, or just?
Typically, they can, at least on the short term, to get rid of the violation, they can usually do patching. That may only be a solution that lasts through the winter, and then next spring.
Or
So-
just seal coated or something like
Yeah,
that?
usually it's going to be some patching or either filling potholes or cutting out sections and patching. If they don't have the money or the time to invest in a complete, do the entire lot, a lot of owners will end up doing a patching solution just to get them through the next year, and then next summer they can plan and budget for a bigger project. That's not unusual. And that would at least address the violation. It may not be, perfect and pretty, but at least the driving surface will be safe and smooth. So we would definitely push hard for the pavement corrections are very important before winter, because obviously that's a real problem. Other than that, the landscaping and that, is Chairperson Combs said, if there are a minor thing here or there, or they can't get one of the trees or something, we try to work with petitioners as much as we can, and if they made a good faith effort, achieved most of the compliance,
Right.
and asked for an extension till spring weather, due to weather, if winter hits early, it would be possible that we may grant an extension. And that's something that's very common with all property owners, commercial and residential. However, they have known about these, they're very well aware of the problems, and we are pushing them very hard to make sure they complete everything if possible. It's November 15th is the deadline in the conditions.
Well, thank you for the photographs also, because we wouldn't have known any of this stuff. That's all I have,
Hey,
Mayor.
Trustee Mills and Trustee Palafis.
Were they aware of these violations prior to the plan review? Have we been citing them?
We didn't issue citations yet. I think our inspection occurred when we went out, when they made the application for this, which was probably been a couple months now. We had some scheduling delays with them, but they were made aware early on in the process, I would say, earlier in the summer.
Well, the one thing I would say is I would hate to see that we only find these things when they're coming back up every 5 years for this
Sure.
review, because this is ridiculous. We really need to be
And we have
keeping an eye on this.
Yes, and that's a very good point. We actually were working the way staffing has been this summer. We actually have worked through inspections throughout the
know, you've
entire
had-
village.
Yeah.
This was one we hadn't gotten to yet. I mean, some of the commercial properties, we didn't do our inspections till late July, early August. So this was one that we just hadn't done early in the year.
I think this is one we need to put on the top of the list for a
Yes,
while.
that has become very apparent. So.
What about the retention pond? Who's responsible for that?
That's the association. They are a member of the association.
Because that's
Yeah.
horrendous too.
And Trustee Mills, just to remind you, when we did the amendment to the TIF
Yeah.
for Moretti's,
Moretti's.
we put some money aside within the TIF to be able to look at doing something at pond, because it was obvious the association wasn't going to have the funding to do it. And we have actually solicited a proposal, which we hope to get in the next week or so. Mark left on vacation today, but he sent me an update that we should have a proposal from engineering firm to look at what we can do with the TIF funds to do work on that lake.
Well, even just to
Kevin,
clean-
if you're taking that over since Mark's gone, right?
Just to clean it up, because there have been buckets and everything else thrown out into
It
that
needs,
pond.
it
Needs
has
to
to
be
be
dredged.
dredged. It needs to be more significant than the
Yeah.
cleanup. We've cleaned it up and enabled and helped them clean it up in the past. And we actually have put boards in the outfall to make it rise in level, so a boat could be put on it to clean it up in the past. It just refills as soon as you lower the level of it down.
Yeah.
It's very, very,
All
very
right.
shallow.
All right, to get back to the point the mayor brought up about this was never intended to be a permanent structure, and now they want it to remain as a permanent structure. Does it have sprinklers in it? Does it have all of that? None of that's in there.
My recollection is similar to yours, except I remember a step in between where they came in front of the board and said, we can't afford to sprinkler, it shouldn't be, we'd like to make it permanent. If we move it X number of inches or feet away from the other building, then it doesn't have to be sprinklered. And we would have to pull out the
Yeah.
legislative background history. It's been extended a couple other times.
Yes.
And I think the issue of being temporary was dealt with then. but we'll have to pull that back out. If you want to defer action on this for a week, so we can do that, that's fine. I know they have events booked, and that's another issue, or maybe it's not.
Trustee Palafis has a question.
I think we should defer till November 13th, or until they have the issues cleaned up. Because it's our standard to, make sure folks are in good standing. And I mean, some of you know the names. I could give you countless examples, right? Just the emails I get. So I'm not comfortable approving something for 5 years that has the issues we see. And, kind of a maybe, yeah, we'll have it done.
So you would like the issues taken care of and then?
Yes, sir. I mean, I could make a motion to defer until November 13th, but we have a motion on the floor.
Oh, we have a motion
Yeah.
on the floor, so then I can remove that motion in favor of postponing this to the next meeting, which is the 18th?
The 18th of September?
18th of September.
That would not accomplish the goal of having the violations taken
Yeah.
care of.
That
If you
could be
just
done in a
want to
week.
get the legislative history, we
Yeah.
could do that. But it doesn't deal with trustee Palafis's point. And also trustee Stanton would have to withdraw his second.
Also, just so you're aware, the special use expired in April.
Oh, good.
But it's
I was
up to
gonna ask
us,
that.
it's up to the village to pursue whether or not we're going to force compliance or with that. So if the board wants to do this, that it can be done.
I would tie that into the November 13th thing.
So did you remove your second?
Not yet.
Okay.
I will now.
Didn't want to pull the trigger fast. Then
Removed.
I'll make a motion that we defer till November 13th, which is the second meeting in November. That that staff has a chance to work with the organization to clean up the code, and in the meantime, we can get some of the history. Because I remember this coming in 2007 or 8, kind of like you mentioned, Mr. Norris.
I think, yeah.
Where it was kind of a permanent temporary then. So
I'll second.
thank you.
Motion is second. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have a motion carried. This is deferred till November 13th.
Right.
Thank you for all your work and your commission, Chairperson Combs.
Thanks, Eva.
Move on to additional business.
I'll make a motion to approve by omnibus votes, 8A, B, C, D, and E.
I'll second.
There's a motion is second for an omnibus vote. Any discussion on that? Seeing none, all in favor of the omnibus vote say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have a motion carried.
Now make the actual motion to approve the omnibus vote.
I will second.
Motion is second. Any questions on any of these items? These items include 8A, request board approval of an ordinance amending section 8-3-22, number of licenses of Article 3, alcoholic liquors of the Hoffman Estates Municipal Code, increase the number of Class A licenses, David's Burrito Express LLC, 870 Roselle Road, Hoffman Estates. 8B, request board approval of a site plan amendment for Hoffman Plaza Shopping Center. 8C, request board approval of a letter of understanding with Illinois Tollway for crossroads signing on Beverly Road Bridge. 8D, request board approval of an intergovernmental agreement with the Village of Schaumburg for Bodie Road bike path maintenance. 8E, request board authorization to award contract for 2017 surface patching project to J.A. Johnson Paving Company, Arlington Heights, Illinois, low bid, in an amount not to exceed $145,891. Still no questions? No questions? Can you poll the board, Madam Clerk?
Trustee Mills.
Aye.
Trustee Newell.
Aye.
Trustee Palafis.
Aye.
Trustee Stanton.
Aye.
Trustee Gata.
Aye.
Trustee Arnett.
Aye.
Mayor McLeod.
Aye. Motion carried. Chair would accept a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
I'll second.
Motion is second. Any discussion on that? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Motion carried. We adjourn. We will meet on September 18th in this very chambers.
Burrito place. That's a good point.
Yeah, I've never been there.